Folks, welcome back. Rudy Alpha Investments today. A little bit of a different change of pace. And today on the Flesh and Blood once a week market update here, we actually have price retraction and kind of price retracement going on. So, wait, what? Oh, wait, no, I'm only allowed to shill if it goes up. I can't talk about if it goes down. So anyways, today's video, overall, we're finally seeing the Flesh and Blood market cool off some when it comes to sealed booster box prices, which I think is finally a good thing. Took long enough. Overall, especially in the Arcane and the Crucible boxes, the second and third. The original WTR Alpha box, there's just not enough to go around, and that's the only one that really hasn't experienced much of a retracement. But when it comes to the Arcane Rising purple boxes, the first edition ones on there, those are the ones that have experienced the biggest price correction, adjustment, downturn. Same thing with Crucible of War. So I'm going to go through all three of these different sets. I'll touch on some of the singles a little bit, but overall, I want to kind of give you guys my perspective, what I see going on, and just to give you guys the updates, make sure everybody's well informed. So, first, on the Welcome to Wraith booster boxes, obviously the Alpha boxes on eBay. Not very many for sale. Cheapest buy now, around $3,500, with actual sold listings between $3,000 and $3,500 people actually buying that. Unlimited reprint version of the Welcome to Wraith boxes, just holding about $120 a box. By the way, these prices include shipping and fees, but they do not include taxes because those are different for everybody depending where your buying location is. So keep in mind, for a lot of people out there, you may have to add 5 to 10% for taxes depending on your particular location. So unlimited WTR, sitting at 120, hasn't really gone higher or lower. That one's kind of flat. But when we jump over to the Arcane Rising, also known as the purple boxes, also known as the second set, those things peaked at about $2,200 a box for the first edition rare versions. They have since retraced down to about $1,600. So we're talking a nasty, it depends on your perspective, or good, 25 to 30% retracement from the high. From $2,200 to like $1,600. That's a $600 swing. That's almost a third of the value. So as of the filming of this, it looks like some people bought the $1,500 box and $1,600 box and $1,650. So the cheapest eBay buy it now on the first edition Arcane boxes is back up to around $1,700 a box. So overall, the Arcane Rising first edition Flesh and Blood boxes, they overall have corrected down a solid 20-25% from their highs. Personally, I think it's kind of a good thing. It kind of needs to chill out and calm down because the constant weekly moves and the extreme amounts is just it's a little much. Come on, people. So it's kind of nice to start seeing a little bit of retracement, the market to kind of start finding its place. It's interesting because if you look at the Arcane Rising listings, you see the listings when they peaked at $2,200 as the cheapest. It looked like they were going higher. The buyers started to kind of pull back. You started to see the people who wanted the product started to back away, saying this is a little much. And then you started to see the sellers start saying, okay, well, my product's not selling. I'm trying to lock in the profits before the bubble bursts. Wow! And all of a sudden you saw 2,200, 2,150, 2,100, 2,000, 19. You started to see everybody starting to do the race to the bottom. Everybody started lowering prices on the Arcane boxes, reducing the overall kind of selling point, which is interesting. And then as they kept going down, they did this from 22, 21, 2,000 a box, 19, 1950, 1850, 18. I saw it go all the way down. The lowest I saw was about 1,550 shipped. And then all of a sudden we started seeing the buyers step back in, and there's actual sold listings again at 1,550, 1,600, 17, 1,800 again. So then you can kind of see that how it moves like that. So it does appear right now the sweet spot for Arcane Rising first edition boxes. They peaked at 2,200. They tanked back down to 1,500 after a correction, a bear market, whatever you want to call it. And it looks like the balance point now appears to be around 17, 1750 for where the actual buyers and sellers agree and transactions are taking place. So that's very interesting. Arcane Unlimited box is not much to say. Same thing as the Unlimited WTR, singing around $120 a box on the open market with TCG Player and eBay. That's including shipping, not including fees. That has not gone higher or lower in the past few weeks. So it's very interesting to see the difference on these first two sets, because what's fascinating is the Unlimited boxes aren't dropping or rising, which tells me the people buying those are essentially players, which tells me that the player base is interested in the Unlimited boxes, and the market is agreeing that the current, based on the expected value of Unlimited, that 110 to 120 to 130 a box appears to be the correct level where buyers and sellers are actually connecting. What's interesting is on the Alpha First Edition, super rare, expensive Fugazi, the sellers want too much, and as you can see, the market is starting to pull back down because the buyers are refusing to buy at that. That's very fascinating. So you're seeing Unlimited Edition, which is cheap for the players, they're selling like hotcakes. You're seeing the high-end stuff slow down, and now the prices had to drop to get it to pick back up. So it's interesting to watch the high-end evil investors versus the players who are trying to buy the regular. It's fascinating to see the different kind of perspective right now. So that brings me to the Crucible of War, also known as Crew, also known as COW, whatever lingo you want to use for it. So Crucible of War boxes on the back, the first edition was out of print, and that there's not going to be an unlimited edition, at least right now. I still think eventually, if I was the company, eventually I would go back and do an unlimited printing. Whether even if it's next year or the end of the year, I would still probably try to do that since all your other products have unlimited. I would try to stay consistent with that business model. That's just my personal opinion. But if and or when that day comes, I don't think it's going to have any impact on the first edition printing boxes at all. So people say, oh, I'm going to wait for that unlimited to buy Crucible. Yeah, I probably wouldn't. Unlimited is for the players. It's to keep the game accessible and realistically cheap. I don't think there's going to be any correlation from first edition box pricing to if and or when we get an unlimited crew or moving forward in the Monarch and Kingdoms into the future. So I want to lay that out there. So as far as Crucible of War boxes, on the news that the first editions were gone, there was all kinds of demand and people were panicking because they saw what was happening in the first two sets. Crucible of War boxes spiked and hit a peak of just under $700 a box, about $680, $690 shipped without taxes, which was a huge run up. Absolutely nuts. I mean, I was watching and going, I guess these things are going to be $1,000 a box. It's insane. So based on that peak, just like Arcane Rising, we have now retraced a solid 25% retracement on Crucible War boxes. It looks like on eBay, the average selling price on eBay now is between $525 and $575 a box for Crucible, with currently, as of filming this video, today is January 16th, 2021 at 1 in the afternoon. The current cheapest buy it now on Crucible on eBay in the United States is $529.99 shipped, so $530 a box. Obviously, that's a solid 25% below $700 a box, which is a very interesting adjustment. Now, again, I noticed when it started hitting that 700, the buyers started to back away, saying, you know, this is a little much, home skillet, cheese fries, corn fritter, waffle fries. And the buyers you started to see the sales slow down, similar to what we saw with Arcane Rising First Edition. So then sellers and store owners and evil investors who are sitting on these who have no intentions to open them or play the game, all of a sudden they realized they weren't moving the product and they were getting nervous and anxiety kicked in. So they started to lower their prices, and multiple stores started to lower their prices from $700 to $680, $650, $30, $20, $600, $580, $550. And it looks like once the price hit about that $500, $520, $540 price point, all of a sudden buyers started to step back in. They were buying cases for $2,000, which is $499 a box in bulk, or they were buying individual boxes for around that $530, $550. So it's interesting to see, like I said, you learn the most in this world by just listening. Just watch. Just sit back and watch what happens. Because the market's going to tell you what's going on. No matter how much Rudy's going to shill or manipulate or pump and dump or get a haircut or eat a taco, at the end of the day, just sit back and watch the market. The market's going to clearly state to you what is the correct price and what is not. And you can see the sellers lower until all of a sudden the transactions meet and the deals go through. It's very fascinating, everybody. A couple things I want to end the video on. Two last points real quick was the Shyana, the old Diamond Gemini there. She has really become the hot card in Crucible of War. Some people say she's the best card in the game. Some people are saying it's better than the Arcanite Shard because of versatility. And of course, everybody comparing her to, of course, Magic's Vesuvian Doppelganger. She's like the female leader, queen of the game. So it's interesting to see that the demand and the price point of her compared to even like the Arcanite Shard at Fabled compared to Legendary Rare. That's fascinating. Lastly, I'll comment real quick before I end the video. The Ira Welcome decks on the news about the whole reprint coming in different version. The price spiked all the way up to like $300 a Welcome deck, which is insane. And as of the filming of this, it dropped down 50%. It looks like it's averaging back to $100 to $150 a deck. I actually think a fair price for an investor wanting to grade them and do it is probably around that $100 to $200. I think 300 plus is a little insane. And even then, $150 for a Welcome deck, I never thought I'd see the day. Really, welcome to 2021. I wonder if Wizards is ever going to get better, and that's all I got. I don't know. The world's crazy.